Well, you already know what it is. It's another episode of Thought Conversations where we bring to you people who are entertaining, who are engaging, who are educational, who are difference makers in this world. And I got another difference maker for you today. I am so happy and so proud to have her here. She is an author. She is a preacher, a preacher's kid, uh, renowned praise and worship artist, recording artist. More so, she's a mother, she's a sister, she's a friend. I want to welcome to Thought Conversations my friend, my sister Stephanie J. Pride. Welcome, Steph.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I enjoy your platform, enjoy your show, so I'm really glad to be here.
Pleasure to have you here. And we're going to talk about those things, and we're also going to talk about your healing journey with cancer. And we're going to get into that because you're on a journey for healing, and we want to talk about that. But being a preacher's kid, how's
Okay.
that? How's that growing up? What did you have to learn? What did you have to unlearn?
First of all, that's crazy to be a PK, okay? But I guess I look at it like any other CEO or any other leader, and then they have their children. You just grow up in a glass ball. And so I learned a lot about discretion. I learned a lot about privacy. I learned a lot about being in a family unit that sticks together. And those lessons that I learned, I will cherish for the rest of my life. I kind of built my life based upon those principles. And then I had to unlearn a lot about just living my life for other people and learning how to live my life for myself. So it was so many years I had to live up to the expectations of the people in the congregation, the expectations of my family, and which way you should go. This is what the family does. And then I had to learn how to live for myself, and I realized that I had a purpose and a calling that God intended for me, right? And I had to figure that out. So a little self-discovery and unlearning how to live for other people and learning how to live in the fullness of who I am and who I was called to be.
So you talk about that the expectations of others, like would people actually
Yeah.
come to you and say things to you or make you feel bad, or
Oh
what
yeah.
was that like?
Oh yeah, it's like you can't do that because you the bishop's daughter. You can't go here because you the bishop's daughter, or you can't wear that because you the bishop's daughter. You can't date this person because you're the bishop's daughter. You can't say that because you're the bishop's daughter. And yeah, a lot of expectations, they were unspoken, but then there were a lot that were spoken, and it was just like this is what you got to do. And it's not because you signed up for it. This is what came with the territory of this is your mama and your daddy, you know? And so it was kind of crazy because, one day you want to hang out and you growing up and becoming a teenager, and I'm becoming a teenager, and I want to hang out, and they like, "Oh no, you can't come with us because you the pastor's daughter." Like, I can't come. Like, no, you can't come. So, we were sheltered. We were sheltered for many years, and then we kind of got out there. Then everybody, they want to say, "Oh, the PK kids, y'all the worst ones." Well, that's because a lot of times they put so much constraint on you. Then finally you get out. And you just go crazy. I wasn't one of them. I wasn't one of them. I didn't go crazy, but I did get out there and I did have me a good time. Eventually.
How did you avoid mistakes? So I mean, how did that? What did you do?
Well, yeah, so, like, I dibbled and dabbled with a little bit with the drinking. I dibbled and dabbled with hanging out with the wrong crowd. Like, I wanted to hang out with a guy who wasn't, in the church. And so it wasn't like he was a gang banger. He wasn't like that, but he definitely was not a church boy. So I dated him for a little while, but I didn't I still had a lot of boundaries, and I'm really grateful to God for that. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if that came from me really listening to my parents, because I wasn't like the teen pregnancy type girl. I wasn't, I was a virgin when I got married. So like a lot of those, a lot of those lessons I kind of carried throughout my life. And even though I started hanging out, I still had a lot of restraint and boundaries.
So what do you wish people would have done differently that would have gave you more balance and would have given them more balance and with PK kids?
Yeah, I just wish that people would just extend it a little bit more grace towards us growing up. It was like they always expected for us to be at church. They always expected us to participate at church. They expected us to have the Holy Ghost. Oh, I done said the Holy Ghost, Lord. That's such a controversial word nowadays. But they expected us to have the Holy Ghost, meaning like speaking in tongues and being so saved and wearing skirts down to our ankles. I didn't wear pants until I was in high school because we grew up Pentecostal, apostolic Pentecostal. So like, wearing jewelry and earrings and makeup and all that stuff, that was out the question. I didn't do none of that till I was in high school. So I wish that, that I was allowed certain things. Like we couldn't go to the movies until my dad started pastoring. So, like we had a lot of restraint. And so I wish that we weren't held so tightly, to those types of things. I wish that they would have let us experience a little bit more life a little younger. But the truth is that, we didn't come out bad. I came out a pretty good adult, but I did allow my daughter I changed the way that I parented because I parented the way I wish that they would have extended us a little bit more grace.
Yeah, yeah. So how did that affect your praise and worship style or your praise and worship being that I'm a PK kid, this is expected. When did it become real for you as a person? Praise and worship.
So that's a good question because I was extremely shy. Like the Stephanie y'all see now was not the Stephanie that started singing when I was 11 years old. When I was 11 years old, they pushed me to sing because we didn't have nobody else. So it was like we didn't have nobody else, so like you up for it. But Wilson James, Peggy James, they were members of our church. They were over the music department. If you know anything about Detroit, you know Peggy James. Peggy James can just sing, flat foot sing her and her husband, they were just like, "We not gonna be here next Sunday, so you gotta sing." And it was like, "What?" And I was terrified, like terrified. And so this is before the Fred Hammond and Israel Houghton, Lord You Are Good and all of that kind of stuff. So it really wasn't the praise and worship as we see it nowadays. And so it was still more congregational. It was still more like choir oriented. And so they kind of pushed me out of my shyness to make me because we ain't had nobody else. I used to play the drums because we ain't had nobody else. I was playing the drums with a skirt on. That's how desperate we was. My daddy. But I kept a good pocket. So I played the drums till I was like 14 years old. I didn't want to play the drums. I knew that early on. I didn't want to play the drums. And so but because they kept pushing me into that praise and worship thing, um, they made me get around Bishop William Murphy. We were a part of Full Gospel, and so I started going around there, and I saw his leadership, and something in him made me want to pursue praise and worship more. And so it started becoming real to me in high school, and I started just yearning and yearning for the presence of God. And so that's when Lord You Are Good came out and Israel Houghton came out, and I went to my father and I said, "Hey, I think that our church, we can do this." And he said, "Well, you over praise and worship now, do it." And so he gave me a lot of freedom and a lot of creative freedom to do that for our music department. And that's when we started changing. And so my friends in high school, James Shelton, Melinda, Tony, and myself, we got together and we were all there at the church, and we said, "This is gonna be our music department." And we took over the music department and we turned it into what we felt like music should be. And praise and worship was so fun. We mixed it. That's when we started mixing it with the contemporary stuff, with the old stuff, and we came up with this thing called Incredible Worship. Incredible Worship was a night that we came together with all of the arts at our church, and we did everything from media on the screens to doing games on the screens in between the songs. And he just let us dream, and he just let us go. And it just became my life's passion to lead other people in the presence of the Lord. So it became real about 17, 18 years old, and we just ran with it. I was on fire.
And you still on fire. So describe your style if you could. What who's Stephanie as far as
Oh, I have no idea. I'm like all over the place. One minute we're into contemporary music, and then the next minute I'm gonna tie a hymn in there. I just it's something about the simple phrasing, the simple chord structure, the simple keys that just kind of just get everybody on one accord. And I always look at praise and worship as like a tour guide, somebody that's leading you on the tour. And if you turn around and look behind you and your audience is not there, or your group is not there, then I've not done my job. So I've always tried to lead worship from that perspective, that I have to lead and make sure that everybody is coming with me. And so therefore that's why my style has been a little bit of everything, a little bit of contemporary, a little bit of traditional, a little bit of gospel, a little bit of urban, a little hip hop, a little warfare. We're going to do it. We're going to hit it all, because God is spirit. And there are no limits to him. There are no boundaries to him. And so I don't want to put a cap on him in my experience of experiencing him. And so I do a little bit of everything.
who are some of your favorite artists?
I keep on saying Israel Holt and Chandler Moore is like one of my favorite. Naomi Rain, Prophet is Rain, the one who was contemporary with her prophetic worship. Some of my favorites. Yeah. Of course, Fred Hammond. Of course, he's like the father of praise and worship for the Black church, if you ask me. I
Fred is the
mean,
father.
yes, I know, to say that now, right? You grew up with
Right.
him. You're right, right.
That's amazing. So now you're doing all this praise and worship. I'm gonna switch gears, and I want to be respectful and sensitive in this moment. And here you are, and you get a cancer diagnosis, leading you to that journey, that healing journey you're on now.
Yeah, that acceptance was hard, and to this day, like some days I wake up and I'm still trying to really even accept it, because I literally was leaving a conference, and I was on my way to do another a missionary journey in Kenya, South Africa, and all of a sudden I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling a fatigue that I've never kind of felt before. I'm feeling a little pain up under my arm, and I'm like, maybe I need to go to the ER just to make sure that I'm okay to take this flight. And I pull over to the right. Holy Spirit said, pull over. There's a hospital right there. Go inside emergency just to make sure that you're good. So I go inside emergency at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They release me at 4 a.m. with a sheet of paper that says, patient did not tell us she had breast cancer. And I'm reading this and I'm like, I didn't know I had breast cancer either. And I just had a little shortness of breath, but it said that patient had cystic lesions over her rib cage. And I'm like, what's cystic lesions? And so I'm Googling this at 4 o'clock in the morning. My sister is with me and we are just stunned. I'm stunned. I used to do smoothies. I was exercising regularly. Like I said, I'm traveling the country singing praise and worship. I'm traveling as an administrator. And so I'm well into my gifts and I'm doing my thing, full-time ministry. At the time, it was like 20 years full-time ministry. I'm thinking, surely you got the wrong person. Like, how in the world can something like this happen to me? You know, I am, I was doing prayer services. I started this thing called Meet Me at the Altar. And so we would do this like every other month at our church. And then we started traveling with it. And when I say the testimonies of healing and deliverance that was coming from that. And so it just didn't add up.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not a smoker, I'm not a drinker. Like, it just did not add up. Like, I wasn't even overweight. It just seemed like it just did not add up. It's like, what did I do? How did my body fail me? And then then you get all of the religious people like, what door did you open? You must have opened some kind of satanic door. What kind of door to the enemy did you open up? What covenant did you open up with the devil, to do this, and I was confused. And literally I'm doing all of this, like I said, that year in 2024 I had visited like 6 countries. I was in and out the country. So I just went from that to a screeching halt to doing absolutely nothing, to laying in my bed, going to doctor after doctor after doctor, getting poked, ended up in a hospital for like 10 days at a time, not knowing what was going on, not understanding what my fate was. And so you talking about living your life in the public eye for all of these years and then living it publicly on a stage, having to testify, having to preach, to really having to live this thing in my bedroom, like living this thing in a hospital room, living this thing in my apartment. Like, forget the cameras, forget the lights, forget the people. This is the real deal, Holyfield. What do you believe? Who do you believe? Whose report will you believe? My body instantly went to like all of this pain, side effects from different treatments and things like that. It went from, hey, let's do your blood work just to see what's going on with you, to you have stage 4 invasive ductile carcinoma. That was huge. How do you go to stage 4? I mean, you just thinking like, can I start at stage 1? Like, how do you go to stage 4? Like, and then if you like me, and those of you that are listening, if you like me, you thinking like stage 4, that's the end. Like everything that I've known about cancer, up until that point, was that at stage 4, that's a death sentence. Then they did more tests, and they told me that where it spread to my brain, it spread to my pelvis, it spread to my arms, and different parts of my rib cage in my chest. And so that was absolutely terrifying. The spirit of fear gripped me. I was in my house, terrified, crying almost every day, scared to go outside of the house, scared to tell anybody. I was determined that I was just going to tell my family and my friends, and we were just going to get through it. And then I was going to come out with a testimony and not say anything at all. And I was no, I was in the hospital, about to get out the hospital. My sister called me that morning. She said, "Girl, I'm going to get us a word." It was a prophetess, Valerie Moore. She was in Detroit at a conference here. She said, "Girl, I'm going to get us a word this morning. It's 6 o'clock in the morning." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I was like, "Ain't that gonna be something? She gonna call you out and give a word for me." And we laughing. We like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, that's what's gonna happen today." We like, "Yeah," not knowing that we are prophesying. The nurse walked in, and her name was I said, "What do you say your name is?" She said, "Victory. My name Victory." And I was like, "Whoa." I was like, "Whoa, today is gonna be my victory day." I said, "Girl, Victory then walked in my room." So like we clowning. It's Sunday morning, but like we clowning, but at the same time, we really are praising God. She goes to church. Valerie Moore calls her out and says, "Where is Stephanie? Stephanie, where is Stephanie?" And so she in the back, like, "That's my sister. That's my sister." And so she go up there, she get a word. Valerie Moore said, the word of the Lord, "Where is Stephanie at now?" She says, "Stephanie is getting out the hospital." She says, "Stephanie will live and not die. Stephanie is healed from cancer." And so that's how publicly everybody found out my diagnosis. And so I came home and I laid on the couch and I'm a wreck. And so I'm receiving the word of the Lord, because I'm like, only God could have told this lady from out of town to give me this word. And the Holy Spirit said, "If you don't tell it, I'm going to tell it, because this is for my glory and not yours." And so from that day forward, I went public and I started talking about my healing journey. And I wanted to show people what faith looks like, because I didn't have too many examples that went through this thing called healing publicly. Like, I've known a lot of my forefathers, a lot of preachers and teachers. I've known them to go through it privately, and then they come out and say, "Oh, God is a healer," but I didn't see their journey. And so the Lord said, "No, I'm going to use you, and you're going to have to go through this to show people what faith looks like." And so here I am. I'm out here. So I told the Lord, I said, "Well, Lord, if you're going to have me out here, then don't have me out here looking crazy." And I'll never forget it. He took me to the scripture that said, "Those who put their trust in Him will never be ashamed." And so I said, "Okay, I put my trust in you, so don't have me out here looking crazy. Now you say you gonna heal me, then you gonna have to heal me." And that's what kind of relationship me and the Lord have. We just be talking. I'm like, "You got me out here," so you know.
So you've been very vocal since then, and you've been upfront and faithful in your posts and those things. How did you have to fight for your faith? Because people look at you when you on camera, but I'm sure like there were stages to that. What was a bad day like, and then what a day like? Okay, Lord, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, it's been a lot of bad days. I was trying to put that into words last week about how many bad days. I still go through bad days. Like I said, it feels like a janky roller coaster ride at Cedar Point. Like one minute you you can be high, the next minute you are in the pits, right? Right. And then that's how the diagnosis can go. The diagnosis one day it can say, "Hey, everything looks good." The next day it can say, "Hey, everything is bad and everything is worse." So one of the worst times was I was actually in the hospital and I had to have a blood transfusion because the medicine and treatment that I was on, it automatically just makes your blood go super low. And so I had new doctors. Whenever you're in emergency, you don't see most of the time your normal doctors. You see doctors that are assigned to hospital rounds. So I had these new doctors that were coming in and they were running all these tests. And so I had this new doctor, she came in, and so she saw what was going on, and she came in almost to tears. So she's like, "I highly recommend that you take this new radiation." She said, "We're going to do you full brain radiation to your brain, and it's going to cause you to lose your memory." She says, "And I'm going to give you full back radiation, and it's going to actually destroy your kidneys and your liver." She didn't say the word destroy, but she said something to that magnitude. And I remember sitting there like, I in so much disbelief. Like, I felt like the sun had stood still. I felt like everything that I had believed, I felt like was a lie. It was like I was stuck in a moment of time, and I'm like, if she's telling me all of this, how could everything that God told me be real? Like, how could, like, you even sent the prophet, like, how could that be real? And I just remember I just remember sitting there crying because I couldn't even talk. Like, I couldn't express myself. And during the time she was telling me I was by myself, no, none of my family, they were switching gears and everything. And I was just in there just weeping just because I really felt like God had forsaken me. And here's the thing about feeling like God had forsaken me, because I already felt like it was nothing that my mother could do. It was nothing that my family could do. It was nothing that my doctors could do at that point. It wasn't anything that I could look to somebody and be like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" So I felt like my fate was only in God's hands. And I felt like this is getting worse and worse and worse. Like, I was already at day number 9, like in the hospital. And so I'm already feeling like discouraged, like, man, when am I going to get out of here? And now we're waiting on test results. And then you mean to tell me this? So I felt like God had left me. And I'm feeling like everything that he had told me was a lie. And so my faith was in the dumps. I told the lady, I called my nurse. I said, "Can you give me a antidepressant, a pain pill, give me everything that you got." She said, "Oh, are you okay?" I said, "No." I said, "No, I'm not okay." I said, "I'm struggling. I got some of the worst news in my life. And so can she brought that stuff in there and I just went to sleep. I went to sleep and I woke up and then I was ready to start telling everybody what was going on, but it was hard for me to express it because like you said, I'm wrestling with my faith because I'm like, this goes against everything that we had talked about. This goes against everything that we had prayed about. And so I called another one of my doctors and told him what was going on. And he called me back and he was like, Stephanie, do what you got to do to get out of there and you'll be fine. I called my other doctor. He said, well, hey, let's run some tests before we do that. And so my faith was, I don't think I prayed that whole week. I was just done. I was done. My family was there to support me. Of course they were really by that time, and let me just interject this. By that time, I had taught everybody around me how to talk to me. So when you're on a healing journey or when you're on a journey, period, you need to teach people how to talk to you. People think that they can say anything that they want to say to you, and I disagree because words are spirit, and our spirits are like soil. So even if they say, "Oh, I'm just playing," "Oh, you make me sick," "Oh, you get on my nerve," "Oh, girl, that cancer's about to kill you," "Oh," it goes down in your spirit and your subconscious. Your subconscious does not know how to differentiate. Your subconscious is not saved. Your subconscious only knows how to do one thing, and that's to process the words and the feelings. And what does spirit does? Spirit has to manifest those words. Those words that we speak are life and death. And guess what? It has to manifest. And so by that time, we had already been through, no negativity. This is how we say it. If you can't say it right, then this is how you kind of. So that kind of hyped me up, and got me back together. But I still wasn't talking because I knew that if I started talking, then I was gonna mess something up, you know. But I was grappling. I was grappling. It's some days that I still grapple and wake up and it's kind of quiet. I have my mornings where I'm quiet because there are some days that are still kind of painful. And I lay there with that pain and I rock myself to sleep, and I'll confess my way out of it,
Mm,
if that makes sense.
it does.
Yeah.
It makes sense as well. So you talked about your support group. Tell people what you wish they would know, both naturally and both spiritually, how they can help you on your healing journey. Talked about the religious part of it, people being religious and insensitive. Talk about that. Come on, people, what can we do?
Yeah, first of all, stop trying to fix everything. Like, I mean, it's so many people that give me remedies and they just think that they know. And like, how do you know that that works? Like, I just remember so many people, in my comments and calling me, soursop, soursop, soursop. Soursop is not the end all be all and it's not a healer for everyone. Like, so stop saying that. You know what I'm saying? Stop giving out your remedies and saying, this is why you got sick and I seen this video, and if you deworm yourself, then you'll be healed. So I wish that people would stop being scientists. Like, did you know that there are over 200 forms of breast cancer? Had no idea. It's over 200 forms. And so what worked for Suzanne might not work for Stephanie. And what worked for Stephanie might not work for Suzanne. Like again, cancer is such a spirit. It's such a demonic spirit. I hate it. It's such an ugly disease because every time that they feel like that they figured it out, it mutates and forms another cell and it forms into something else. And so it's a harder way. So that's number one. Then number two, I wish that people would just show up. I get a lot of people that say, and some people who were really close to me, who I felt like would still be, friends to this day. they back up and they say, "Oh, well, I just didn't know what you needed, so I just gave you your space." Why give me my space? That's the time I need you to pick me up and take me to the grocery store. That's the time I need you to come over and just spend some time with me because, I got all this time on my hand now and I need some company. The worst thing is to be alone all day, every day. So I needed a friend. Why you didn't pick up the phone? Why you didn't send that text message? Send a text message and say, "Hey, just thinking about you." It don't got to be nothing really deep. So the power of presence, of being present. And then number three, use your resources to help them. So sometimes I was having issues at the hospital, and I'm glad that I had friends who worked at the hospital because they help process my testing, they help get me in, and they help me with the right doctor. So use your resources to help your family and your friends. It's very expensive to be on a healing journey. And so sometimes, that extra gas money, because one week I was going to I was going to the doctor 4 times that week. Some months I go to the doctor 4 or 5 times during the month, and gas is expensive. So gas money, lunch money, prescriptions. Some people need help with prescriptions. My prescription, I'm on that one treatment that's $15,000. Like, I stand in line with people who cannot get treatment that day because they could not afford their copay. And that is so disheartening. Like, standing behind somebody and seeing them have to turn away because they don't have a copay. So using your resources to help people during the healing journey is gonna be my third.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Don't give me remedies. I had to write this down. Power of your
Yep.
presence
Yep.
and use your resources. Those are gems, and because we don't know, I
Yep.
probably would be one that be like, I gotta give her some space, or, but it's okay for me to ask you, how do you want to be treated?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, ask me. That's good. Say, "Hey, what's up? Hey, I was just thinking about you. What's going on?" Make me laugh, like something. You know what I'm saying? That keeps the normalcy because I didn't realize how much in my head and how much of my life now is consumed with the healing journey. And then, like, when you got friends that just call you, be like, "What's going on? What you doing? Hey, let's get out. Let's go to the movies." Or, "Hey, I was just thinking about you. Hey, have you saw this new show on Netflix?" Anything just to draw my mind and my attention off of, being sick and shut in.
are there any life lessons that you've drawn so far through this healing journey?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Number one is gratitude. Gratitude is like a healing balm. And so even though I didn't want to thank God for the sickness, I do thank him for this journey. So finding a reason to be grateful is something that I've learned. And I've learned that I didn't do that enough. I didn't appreciate even my people that are around me, even the more than ever, I appreciate them now. So gratitude, and I'm learning how to say it out loud. Then number two is, like, I don't waste time anymore. I waste so much time. I didn't think that I did, but I did, but I realized how much we as people, we waste time. Now I don't waste time. If I want to do it, I'm doing it. If I want to say it, I'm saying it. If I want to go after it, I start after it. And so I'm finding out that speed has nothing to do with my journey if my journey is built on patience. So little bit at a little bit and a little bit at a time helps me reach that goal. So even if I got to get there slower, I'm going to get there, but I'm not going to waste time by doing nothing and saying, so wasting time was a huge, huge thing. When you face with that, "Hey, I might not be here tomorrow," you learn how not to waste time.
Yeah, yeah. When you're faced with your mortality like that, when you get that phone call,
Yep.
it's a different phone call. It's a
Yep.
different burden. It's a different weight, and it makes you appreciate life all the better.
Yep.
Wow. Well, we're standing with you on this healing journey. You already know that, and you shall live
Yep.
and not die. And
Yep.
whatever we need to do, both spiritually, both naturally, that's what we'll do. If your life, for my final question, then I want you to tell people where they can find you and support you. If your life was a movie right now, what would the title be?
I should have been ready for this, and I'm still not ready for this.
Title of the
I
movie.
the title of the movie would probably be
Look,
like
wait a minute. First of all, you're a creative. That ain't hard for you. You're creative. Oh,
it would be called Live Your Best Life. It would be called Live Your Best Life. And so that's what I would do. I would call it Live Your Best Life.
your best life. Where can people find you on social and all of that stuff? How can they get in contact with you?
It's easy to find me, like Drake say, it's easy to find me. I'm at Stephanie J. Pride everywhere. StephanieJPride.com, Stephanie J. Pride on Instagram, Stephanie J. Pride on Facebook. Steph is Rich on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok because I'm trying to build my TikTok up. Steph is Rich on TikTok.
You don't went too far. You started off talking about I was raised in holiness, and then you talk now you quoting Drake.
See, I'm out there living my best life. I'm out here now.
I absolutely love it. Let's have a little fun, a little laughter. I do this thing since it's e-thought conversations. I do this thing called first thoughts. So I'm gonna give you a choice. You give me your first thought. I don't want you to wrestle with it. I just want you to shoot it out there.
Okay.
Beach or mountains?
Beach,
Okay. Dinner, dinner and a movie or Netflix and chill.
Netflix and chill.
Fred Hammond or Israel Houghton.
Oh my God. Fred Hammond. I'm going with Fred.
Cuddly or fine and fit.
Fine and fit. I'm gonna be vain.
Right. Well, I used to see Stephanie at the gym when we stay, I guess, in the same vicinity. And no, and you really are praise and worship. When I see you, you be on the Stairmaster and you just be in a whole nother world. I'll be like, I ain't gonna even bother because anybody that can worship on the Stairmaster is in the third heaven realm. So I'm just in here doing some sit ups.
Ah.
Praise and worship or the choir.
The choir.
Coffee or tea.
Tea. I'm a big tea girl. Hibiscus tea at that.
Okay. What season? Winter, spring, summer, or fall?
Let's go with spring.
So spring. Okay. Uh, Gifts or gift cards?
Gifts. I wanna know what you was thinking. I want the thought behind it.
Oh, make it road trip or flights?
Flights. Flued me out any day.
Yeah, okay. You like an ebook or a physical book?
Physical book.
Movie or TV series?
TV series.
Okay. And Mary or the Clark sisters?
The Clark sisters.
Wine is a commission.
Commission. I'm a commission girl.
Okay. Since you said that, Kanye or Drake?
Drake. Drake.
Oh, that's they they too young for me. I'm still in Sugar Hill Gang rapper delight.
Oh wow.
That's my hip hop right there. I'd be like, what are they saying? I don't know.
Drake talks slow, so you can hear what he got to say.
Why do you choose Drake? Just help me out.
I just love him. He's so real, but I love how he plays on words. Like he's a genius.
Okay, so he's a good wordsmith.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I got for you today. Give us again where we can find you, how we can support you on social and TikTok. Steph is rich. Where's all that again?
Yeah, I would love for y'all to follow me, or I call y'all my friends and my family. I'm on Steph is Rich at TikTok and Stephanie J. Pride on everything else. I would love to see y'all.
And let me just add add to that, if you're looking for somebody that's in the healing journey and you know somebody that's on that journey, you want to like, comment, share this, and follow her on social, because she's not just talking it from a place of she knows she's healed, but she's also in the process, and she's about lifting others' spirits while hers is being lifted as well. And I salute that, and I celebrate you. And with long life, he'll satisfy you and
Thank
show you
you.
his salvation. That's all I got for today. I always leave with an e-thought. And my e-thought is in the NIV. Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. And so we speak in life, and we're going to eat the fruit of life. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Period.